The media has a seething hatred for Sydney Sweeney. We have seen this manifest in the recent months, specifically with the American Eagle ad campaign, but in trying to figure out, okay, because you always want to attribute ignorance and stupidity over malice, but in this case, and kind of with Chris Pratt as well, there really is no nuanced take when it comes to this because, you know, Sydney Sweeney, she kind of cut her teeth on a show that is ostensibly, well, for lack of a better term, woke in Euphoria. She gets her yams out, you know. She does all the stuff that the media would normally like from their young starlets, except she doesn't really talk politics. And hell, she doesn't even want to wade into this astroturfed controversy because she's out here promoting her latest film about female boxer Christy Martin, and that's all she wants to talk about, taking a page out of the Tom Cruise playbook. I was like, no, we're here to talk about the movie. We ain't here to talk about anything else. But the way that, you know, stupid Rolling Stone wants to go ahead and characterize this, Sydney Sweeney won't address American Eagle controversy during promo for a new movie. Yeah, exactly. Bunch of terminally on freaks or terminally online, freaks are butthurt. They can't fit into a pair of American Eagle jeans, let alone would they ever buy them. But I don't know, man. I would imagine she would probably answer questions about the ad campaign if you were to just simply phrase them in the realm of reality. Hey, what do you have to say? What would you attribute to your overwhelming success with your recent ad campaigns? Because the American Eagle one, that was just the most prominent. She has done several other ads, and I guess Hollywood is finally hoping that maybe that popularity will go ahead and transfer over because, yeah, as she says, the movie's about Christy, and that's what I'll be there to talk about. Yeah, the actress had a head of Toronto International Film Festival, and there was a bunch of other cringy shit that was down there, and stupid-ass Mark Carney, while his entire country is burning. In my neck of the woods, literally, it's like, this is the latest in the year there has been such strong and persistent wildfires, and I can't remember the last time we had thick smoke like we do in the air in August, or it's September now, for Christ's sakes, I digress. It's been a long time, so I don't even remember the last time that this happened, but I don't know, he's down there going, hey guys, Orange Man bad. It's like, we've seen what you like, after you won the election earlier this year, the first thing that you did was go over to the White House and grab your ankles for Trump, so it's like, all this passive-aggressive bitch shit, it's like, you should probably drop that and focus on your fucking floundering economy. Which is also quite analogous to the media in general, because they keep on trying to make controversy around Sydney Sweeney, and none of it seems to stick. And the latest one, I think, is probably even more pathetic, right? Because she's out here, she's selling shoes now, Jimmy Choo shoes, which are, you know, fairly high-end stuff, very, very expensive. And yeah, Sydney Sweeney is getting backlash for appearing as a ballerina in a Jimmy Choo ad, despite not being a real ballerina. Hater. Sydney Sweeney pretending to be a ballerina in an ad is so disrespectful to other girls who have spent their lives learning the craft. What the fuck are we doing, man? This is like, oh, okay, cool. What? She should not be able to play Christy Martin because she's not an actual boxer. Sure, she did some training and stuff in preparation for the role, but at the end of the day, it's called acting. It's called, she is using her likeness and her reputation to sell a fucking product, bro. You don't see this, okay? This is stuff that really started to pop up. Okay, we'll just go ahead and move over to the article because, yeah, Sydney Sweeney, Ballet backlash shows just how unhinged activists have become. Yeah, it ruined, even though, you know, the quality of the show had dipped quite precipitously over the years. But when it comes to The Simpsons, The Simpsons, the voice actor for, you know, Dr. Hibbert had to be switched out for a black guy because, oh god, who voiced him? Was it Hank Azaria? No, because he at least did Apu and, you know, his, you know, self-flagellating apology tour after, Apu got shelved, the hardest working Family Guy, not that Family Guy, but the hardest working immigrant success story on The Simpsons. Yeah, he gets shelved because Apu's, he's reinforcing negative stereotypes. And then that hack that spearheaded that campaign went and fucking destroyed Devil May Cry. Yeah, Adi Shankar, that piece of shit. But anyways, just, yeah, this backlash does show how unhinged activists are, and it also shows you that leftists, like, their purview of the world is perfectly formed by the media. I'm constantly surprised, okay, because growing up, okay, I'll tell you something. I always thought, okay, because I grew around very authoritative, very direct speaking individuals, so I always thought, okay, you know, if they're going to talk about a subject, okay, if they're going to posit an idea, idea. They've, probably thought this out for a while. They've gone through the different variables and they've come to a reasonable, rational conclusion. So even when I was growing up, and still to this very day, I will always give deference to somebody, talking on a subject, because I will go ahead and, give them that benefit of the doubt to see if there is something to learn from what they are talking about. But it took me a while, okay? Probably until, most certainly early adulthood, and then I realized that most people just bullshit, and most people's worldviews are really formed by the shit that they see on TV. Okay, case in point, how many people's perception of World War II specifically couched in Hollywood depictions of events, okay? And if something ever is depicted as a biopic or something like that, okay? Or it's a historical moment of time being adapted for the silver screen, and if it says, based on true events, people will take that wholesale. I barely even believe most of the stuff I'll see on a documentary, let alone a biopic or an adaptation. But most people, they just turn their brains off. It took me a while to come around to this stuff because I thought people were smarter than that, but specifically in doing this stuff for over the past 5 years, it has really driven home the fact that people, for the most part, are fucking stupid. Not you beautiful people watching this. I appreciate every single one of you. We're going to talk about, these fucking freaks that think that only ballerinas can be ballerinas on the screen. If you're going to be doing a football movie, you can only have former and current athletes. But unless, of course, you want to adapt Germanic fairy tales, then you can go ahead and cast a Latinus narcissist. Anyways, the phrase Sydney Sweeney Ballet should be trending right now because of the stylish new Jimmy Choo campaign, not because online activists have lost their minds again. Yet, we are here. The actress slipped into a leotard and boots for an ad that playfully leaned into ballet imagery, and the outrage brigade has declared it offensive to actual dancers, which, she's selling boots. Which I can kind of see how you would want to make it a ballet ad if you're going to be selling boots, because you're just going to be showing off flexibility. Feet are going to be pointed, okay, and they're going to be used very artistically, so that kind of makes sense, but it also makes sense because who you cast for the ad as well, to have them, a one-piece leotard all stretching and flailing around. But here's one of the, unhinged posts. Sydney Sweeney pretending to be a ballerina in an ad is so disrespectful to all the girls who have spent their lives learning the craft. Just some basic blonde girl. It's always that. It's always that. To come in and pretend to be one of them. Shameful. Yeah, she's pretending to be that because she's a fucking actress, you idiot. According to the critics, Sydney is pretending to be a ballerina in some sort of a crime against the art form. That's right, in a fashion ad, not a live performance at the Bolshoi, but a fashion ad. Yeah. But it's funny, right? And then you just rope together all of the outrage that you've seen around the American Eagle stuff, even though their stock was going through the roof. Not entirely sure when it comes to Jimmy Choo, but chances are if you're a guy watching this, and it's 95% male audience, I think, when I was last looking through my analytics. So chances are you might not have heard the name Jimmy Choo, very high-end shoes and shit like that. So this is specifically, this is more pointed towards women, or simps and sugar daddies, I suppose. But just really remember, right? Because we went through all of those unhinged reactions, all of those supercuts that were running around last month or the month before. I think it was July when all of that stuff really kicked off. But do you remember all of the faces in all of those outrage videos about a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl is talking about great genes? They literally want us all dead. So funny, right? That's the exact same way that the media, would seem to prefer Sweeney, but I digress. So I don't know how well the Jimmy Choo ad is working out for the brand itself. I haven't seen any movement in the stocks. We're not going to get immediate sales data report. This is just a campaign that started relatively shortly. So we will ultimately see how this ends up working out. But Sweeney obviously has the Midas touch when it comes to this stuff right now. And so Sydney Sweeney faces most backlash from women. Oh, big shock. Okay, for as many jokes as I make about the fairer sex, okay, I could never in my wildest dreams hope to be the kind of misogynist your rank and file woman will be, because they take it to another level. Yes, while male fans show support. Yeah, obviously. It's I was never going to buy American Eagle jeans. I see Sydney Sweeney in a pair and I was that's nice. Okay, I'm just going to move on for the rest of my day. I'll probably have a better opinion of American Eagle because Sydney seems relatively based. Okay, so it's good that chicks like that are getting work. I can see exactly where the marketing department is coming from, and this specific ad campaign. That's all well and good. She's done a couple of other, fast food ads and stuff like that. And okay, cool, great, fantastic. And Jimmy Choo shoes, not necessarily in the market, but over the past few years, okay, past the few's kind of underselling it, the past decade and change, where you have like Nike clothing, which I have, especially when it comes to, exercise equipment and training gear. I have a fair amount of Nike stuff. Now I'm actually wearing like a Jordan brand pair of shorts right now, in fact. So to see the likes of Colin Kaepernick get a multi-million-dollar ad campaign, or big fat black women up there saying that this is the face of athleticism. Like, I just roll my eyes and think, it's like Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, Reebok, they all put out really high quality stuff, and I'm just going to go ahead and like that regardless. I don't freak out like that, and if they do something too terribly egregious, I'll just stop purchasing their stuff for the time being. That's totally fine. You can vote with your wallet. But to try to blow this stuff up and to try to make much ado about nothing, you just look like an asshole, and you end up driving much less principled individuals into into the arms of these companies, or people that are in the market for jeans, shoes, fast food, what have you, to consider that to be made a decision. And so you have these ugly, envious, jealous women that are on the internet who are unsatisfied with the simps in their DMs, are deciding to tear down one of the most popular actresses in the world right now. Like, you could even see it, back in that previous Ballerina post, right? She's a basic blonde girl, bro. It's like, come on. You and I both know that's not true, but let's get a little bit of this, okay? In the midst of the ad campaign backlash, Sweeney has openly criticized the way Hollywood handles so-called female empowerment. She told Page 6 that the slogan "Women Supporting Women" is largely a facade, claiming that behind the scenes it's most often the opposite. Her comments now look prophetic, yes, as the loudest backlash to her recent work has come from fellow women rather than men. Yeah, like Lizzo. I mean, bro, was this before or after she was shoving bananas and backup dancers? American Eagle ad, yes, and multiple TikTok videos. Well, was that just like one video, but then it had to stretch in order to accommodate Lizzo? I know that she's dropped a lot of weight, but she still has a lot left to lose. Strutting in denim and rapping lines like "bitch, I got good jeans" like I'm Sydney. Her send-ups of the campaign made headlines across pop culture outlets. I'll take your word for it. All right, yeah, the Doja alien jumped in too, mocking Sydney's, yes, southern accent, even though she kind of has a non-regional dialect. But no, this was just Doja Cat taking it to what she perceived to be Sydney's target audience. Just once again, the open hatred of white people. But yes, in her satirical video, we watched that as well. Even Beyonce was dragged into the discourse. Yeah, because she did an ad campaign for, Levi's and stuff like that. She didn't say anything about that. That's totally fine. I don't like Beyonce. Like, she tried to ban the word bossy, which is one of the most ironic things I've seen in a while, but that's a long time in the past at this point. She's just endlessly hypocritical because, what's her big song? I could have another one of you in a minute. Jay-Z cheated on you and he didn't go fucking anywhere, so suck a dick, bitch. With some, yes, questioning why Sydney Sweeney receives such heavy scrutiny while Beyonce's denim branding, yes, was celebrated. Oh, it's because it's very simple. Like at the beginning, man, when it's like, okay, cool. Why does the media hate her so much? Because she's white. Let's call it the way that it is. 2025 has done a lot this year. Not a lot that I've been really ecstatic about. But them, the media, the legacy media, the whole outrage mob, the progressive and tolerant left that's out there, they have gone full mask off this year. And they have just showed without any pretense just how much they hate white people and how obvious all of their motivations truly are. So thanks for that. With all that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.